It is widely understood that groups displaying narcissistic or psychopathic traits rely heavily on triggering, baiting, and public shaming. Classic patterns of narcissistic abuse. The reason this behavior is so consistent lies in the nature of the disorder itself, which is the desire to inflict harm without accountability. In online settings, especially when harassment is paired with covert monitoring or illegal surveillance, or just simply misuse of personal information, abusers will take fragments of truth and weaponize them, embedding those fragments within layers of distortion and falsehood. As a concrete example, imagine your car breaks down and you mention needing $1,000 to cover the repairs. Now, given the timing and circumstances, a tarot reader then releases content that appears to reference someone in that exact situation, antagonizing a person who recently experienced a car breakdown and explicitly needed that amount of money. From there, the reading layers on numerous false or exaggerated claims that cast this person as the villain. As the narrative unfolds, the comment section even reinforces the portrayal with additional accusations such as claims of theft or suggesting just plain manipulation that the so-called villain is exploiting or asking money from someone else, which is in their story is their hero. Now, these claims compound the original insinuation, creating a distorted story built around a small kernel of truth surrounded by speculation and misinformation. The objective is not accuracy, it is damage. You see, when you're dealing with psychopaths, pain is the goal. And by whatever means are most effective, while simultaneously positioning themselves as the victims or the reasonable party, this dynamic closely mirrors what happens in relationships with covert narcissists. The abuse is rarely overt. That is why it's called covert. That's why most of the time this is not physical. Instead, it takes the form of triangulation, gaslighting, blame shifting, and scapegoating. Often for actions that the target never committed. At the same time, the abuser carefully curates a positive public persona and strong social alliances, ensuring that if the target speaks up, they are unlikely to be believed. So the same mechanism appears in covert cyber harassment. Vague, indirect posts are crafted specifically to provoke a response. And the post itself is rarely the point. The reaction is. Because when the target calls the behavior out publicly, or reacts emotionally, defensively, or with visible distress, or tries to explain the context, while outsiders that see only someone responding to content that appears harmless on the surface. And to observers, it can look like it's a projection, a paranoia, or an unnecessary drama. So, this outcome is intentional. It's the setup, designed as reputational sabotage by the psychopaths. So, at its core, this is a power move. The message being sent is that I can provoke you, you cannot prove intent, and if you respond, you lose. That imbalance creates helplessness while preserving the abuser's sense of control. Silence feels unjust, but reacting is precisely what hands them leverage. For individuals who engage in this behavior, emotional dysregulation is the reward. Because they are often seeking emotional supply, validation of their impact, entertainment, and a sense of dominance. And a strong reaction, any reaction, confirms success that I got under your skin. Even negative attention sustains the cycle. This is why the experience can feel destabilizing for the target. You recognize the behavior as directed at you, yet you cannot definitely prove it. And others don't see what you see. So that gap between lived reality and public perception breeds self-doubt, rumination, and anger. States that ultimately serve the abuser's aim. Now let's talk about another post from a tarot reader. She said, the person that began rivaling with you out of jealousy is being exposed and outed from their coven/cult. Something this person tried to do around you backfired. Hard on them, which exposed them, and those connected clear as day. This may involve physical stalking, which involve international travel, hacking, and illegal tracking. This person's motives against you is being seen as deep-seated envy to the point of meddling and infringing on your life just to sabotage it. This person is being publicly outed for the weird and impulsive actions they took against you. And not just infringing on your life, but paying money and also paying with their body, sexual favors, just to sabotage you. Messages, voice notes, videos, and photos of this person are going to be exposed for everyone to see who they really are. And this almost feels like a humiliation ritual. And there's no escaping this karma for them. This person and several others within this coven or cult may end up taking themselves out to avoid their exposure and humiliation. And they are still going to be exposed and known for exactly what they were and what they did. Their whole group is actively being taken down, and all those that assisted will have their portion of karma too. Many people are actively being exposed as frauds, bullies, Jezebels, and karmics. And if you were targeted by this group, you're being vindicated with their exposure. Everything they tried to make you out to be is now being seen that it was always them the whole time. Many karmic tarot readers that were falsely making themselves as divine, intuitive, chosen empresses, empowers, hierophants, witnesses are actively being exposed as nothing but karmic frauds. And the real gifted, genuine, and humble readers that were being targeted by this narcissistic cult of clones will finally receive the recognition and rewards that they were always destined to receive from our hard work, gifts, and talents. Let the real gifted stand up and take their rightful positions to bring change and balance here on this realm. And let the karmics return back to their shadow realm. These people will no longer be able to get away with stealing, sabotaging, and attacking us just to be seen as things and people they are not. They cannot continue with their deception any fucking longer. It is time for them to go. I am not acquainted. So, you see, with this post, I'm not acquainted to this person. But this post hits home. But can I consider the tarot reader as an ally who are whistleblowing in this situation? No. Fuck no. You see, a vague post is as shady as a detailed post. We are dealing with destiny thieves. A vague post can be just as problematic as an overly detailed one. In many cases, the tarot readers who provide extensive, specific narratives are the very individuals engaging in the behavior they are describing. The evil that they talk about. Redirecting responsibility by attributing their own actions to someone else. Scapegoating. So this resembles a scenario where a perpetrator or a murderer points to another person as the suspect in order to deflect scrutiny. In situations like this, there are realistically only two parties who knows the full truth of what occurred. One, the person who initiated the harm, and two, the person who was targeted. As I have explained, showing you patterns of these lying readers, the energy exchange and scapegoating of crimes, we are dealing with destiny thieves. Describing events with apparent accuracy does not absolve someone of wrongdoing, particularly when no verifiable evidence is presented to show that they themselves were targeted or harmed by other tarot readers. Over time, a consistent pattern emerged that individuals presenting themselves as truth tellers or whistleblowers were recounting real experiences, but they were assigning them to someone else, while simultaneously antagonizing the person who actually lived through them. So, once again, destiny thieves. And this was not accidental. It functioned as deception in narrative theft, reinforced through repetition in collective participation. I was never in a cult or group. If you're grounded in reality, you would see that the tarot readers are actually the ones working as a group, evident with their organized narratives. I never paid people. My reality doesn't match the possibility. So why am I claiming that this post resonate with me? Because it does. And someone did this to me with a group of karmic tarot readers. Let's just say that I have a main enemy and we can call this person as G. This person is younger than me. And I assure you that this person needs help. Because this whole thing is a huge corruption that involved money and theft. They were trying to create a mirror situation that I was doing this to another snake friend who chose to side with my enemies. So the whole setup began. You see, psychopaths don't back down, they escalate with their lies. And in their deluded minds, they will surely force defeat. So, no, I'm not running away. LOL. Ultimately, people are free to believe what they choose. However, acting on unverified narratives or symbolic narratives about real individuals carries real consequences. And escalating false claims, projecting intent, or treating metaphor as fact does not lead to justice, it leads to harm. The point is simple. Belief does not equal truth, and narrative does not equal reality. And choosing discernment over projection is not weakness, it is responsibility. Now, if I know that the shoe will fit, so please wear it. Because if this resonates uncomfortably, that's worth reflecting on.